Name, sir?
I'm Ian Cooper. I'm the CEO at CCOPS. We are a technology company based in Austin, Texas, that does methane emissions monitoring for the energy industry, oil and gas, landfill, and biogas sectors.
You did a presentation today and you talked about differences between carbon dioxide and methane in terms of effect and causation of climate change, global warming. Can you, in a nutshell, explain to the audience what's the difference?
Yes, methane is a shorter-lived molecule in the atmosphere. CO2 is much longer-lived, but on the 0 to 100-year timescale, methane is about 28 times more efficient in terms of its warming effect on the atmosphere. So that's why we and other technologies are specifically targeting methane and specifically targeting emissions in oil and gas. We are developing a CO2 sensor so that we can fill both parts of that spectrum as well.
So, can you talk on the technologies you presented today?
Yes, so
briefly.
We have a direct measurement of methane that's a technology that was spun out of NASA, JPL. We've ruggedized it for the oil field and we deploy it on unmanned aerial systems, drones, efficiently, effectively, leveraging the automation capabilities of those drones to identify, localize and quantify leaks in emissions from oil field equipment. We then alert the operator on where and when they need to repair those leaks.
Having said that, in your opinion, how much is the Petroleum Engineers doing in order to cope the crisis that is attributed to them vis-a-vis global warming, climate change, and the health and human impact?
I think, again, my son-in-law is a petroleum engineer, and I had mixed feelings about him going into that profession, but I think it's essential to have highly qualified engineers and scientists continue to tackle the environmental issues associated with the energy transition and aiding us in efficiently and effectively making that transition. And the first step there is decarbonizing effectively the operations today.
Finally, do you think that there is an undue attack on the energy industry as to the causation of greenhouse gases? Because you said that it's not only the energy industries that are involved in the production of methane and other greenhouse gases.
Yes,
so which are the other ones? And
specifically on methane, there's significant contribution from agriculture, so enteric fermentation, cow burps. Is an important source of methane, again much more difficult to address. The landfill sector as well has very high emissions, particularly from the active burial regions in those landfills. And again, with population increase, that's a problem that's only going to need to be addressed more significantly. And I know President Biden has actually mandated that he wants to see a 70% reduction in emissions from the landfill sector. And then you've got the biogas sector, which is growing quite dramatically as well, using waste to produce natural gas, whether it's for local heating or to put into the pipeline as well. So I think focusing on all of these areas is important, not just the direct oil and gas energy industry itself.
And how does energy work with the other sectors you've mentioned in order to bring synergy?
Yep, so we work very closely with the landfill and biogas sectors. We actually have the head of the European Biogas Association on our board. We work closely in performing surveys of emissions for the landfill sector, identifying just how large their emissions are and where they need